is looking all right. No, that was. Hi, Janice. All right, I'm gonna give it another minute and then I will get started. Today I'm going to be working on the February challenge, which is kind of like a shopping list challenge. So there's a list of all different items to include on a layout, and the challenge is to choose at least 3 items to include on the project. So there's camera, film strip, stamping, a ticket, stencil, a heart, an arrow, stitching, rub-ons, and sequins / gems. So I'm going to see how many I can get on there today. Let me see. I'm just going to pull up the group page. Let's see what we have going on this weekend. So we have Jessica live on Sunday at 10 a.m. Hi, Anna. Hi, Tisa. And then we have Sherry live on Monday. And then next weekend, we have our crop. So if you're joining me today and you're new, we have an online crops group that you can join, and we have 20 plus challenges, and you'll have a month to complete them. It's a lot of fun. All right, so it looks like we have a few people in here now. As I just said, I'm going to be working on the February challenge. I pulled this sketch off of Facebook today. This is from Scrap a Sketch. They give a free sketch every Friday. So I'm going to be using this sketch and the February challenge. So I just pulled out a ton of stuff so that way we could see a bunch of every stencil I have that has hearts on it. I pulled some tickets. I pulled the Simple Stories Valentine's Day set, my sprinkly bits, and we're gonna make a layout for the February challenge. So I'm also going to be making a couple of embellishments. So I'm going to show you guys this die. I'm not going to die cut. I did all the die cutting ahead of time because I feel like that would take me a lot of time. But this is, I already cut the packaging up. This was in the sale the other day. No, the last group of sales that shipped. So in my last order that I received, it's the Altenew Capture Memories layering die set. I already cut it down to go in my storage package, but it comes with dies to create a camera and a film strip. So the film strip is just a standalone die, and then the camera is a piece that you build. So I'm going to clear this off. We'll build the camera together. That'll be the first thing we do before I start cutting papers for the layout. Oh, this is the picture I'm going to scrap. You guys know that it's my goal this year to catch up on some years past, and this was Aiden's very first Valentine's Day. So I have to get that picture scrapped. All right. So this comes with 7 dies to create the camera. This is what the finished camera looks like. I'll bring it up a little bit higher so you can kind of see the detail. It embosses some little details on the camera. I don't know if that's really showing up or not, the embossing. So this first die is going to cut out the base of your camera. So whatever color you want the base of your camera to be is this die. The second die here is going to cut out this body part of your camera. So that you can do in whatever color you want. So I'm going to go with red because it's Valentine's, but I also have this backup aqua one because this collection does have this aqua color in it. And we'll see which camera I like better. Now you have this die here. So these 2 dies are going to layer together, and they're going to make this top part here. So this die that has a 2 on it has a little keyhole. Let me see if I can bring that up. Sorry, there's a delay, so I'm not sure if you're seeing. Yeah, you can see the little keyhole there. So the keyhole on this is going to line up with the keyhole on the body of the camera. They'll just line up together like that. And really, this piece is really just for kind of raising up the top part of the camera. So then this piece here, this die here, that doesn't have a number on it, that I cut with this mirror silver cardstock that Michelle had. I bought this from her quite a while ago. But it really is just, this is just a layering piece to kind of give it more, what's the word I'm looking for? More dimension. And this top piece has some embossing in it. So if I bring this up, you can see that there's some little buttons that are embossed in there. There's some detail around one of the flash units. And then the last two dies, so the one that has the 4 on it is going to be the base of the lens. And it has a little arrow on it here. And so what will end up happening is all of the arrows will get lined up. So there's an arrow here, an arrow here, and an arrow here. And they will all get lined up like that. And then to finish it off, the rim that goes around the camera lens, I did that in the silver. And that's going to cover up your arrow and make a nice detail for your lens. So let's start gluing all of these pieces together. So we're going to take the body of the camera, and we're going to take this layering piece, and I'm going to add glue to the back of this. Yeah, this mirror paper is really, really cool. I don't know if Michelle still has it in the shop, but I believe she probably can get it if people want to have some silver mirror paper. I also got some gold mirror paper from her. That's also really, really pretty. And the nice thing with the mirror paper is that it really shows the embossing. If you look at the glitter paper here, on the lens I can see the embossing, but up here, the 2 buttons, it didn't really emboss all that well. So the mirror paper and then regular cardstock really captures the embossed details on this die nicely. And I like using wet glue for putting together die cuts because it gives you a little bit of wiggle time to really wiggle it into place. So now if I bring this up, you can see that I lined up that little keyhole up there. And now it might be a little hard to see, but it's kind of layered. Okay. So that's part 2. Now we're going to add in 3, which is our red camera body. And we're going to line up the arrow and the arrow here. And you are going to get a little slim line of black that is going to show in between the silver part when I layer that and this. So if you guys have this die or you plan on getting this die, don't be surprised if you see like a little thin line of black there. All right, now I'm going to add this silver piece on because the lens is going to go overlap this, right? So let's add that on. The only thing with mirror cardstock, oh, and once again, you can kind of see that there's a line around this, so it should help you line it up nice and easily. With mirror cardstock is that if you get glue on the front of it, it kind of smudges the mirror look to it a little bit. So you just want to be a little bit more careful with the mirror cardstock than maybe with regular cardstock. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to add on piece 4, our lens, and I'm going to line up the arrow with the arrow. All right, and you can see that I've lined up all the pieces, and then the last piece is going to be the lens ring. Now, another thing that you could do if you wanted to give it even more dimension is you could put the ring, you could assemble the two lens pieces first. So you could put these two pieces together first and then put foam dimension behind this. So put some foam adhesive behind it, and then this would pop up. So you'd get a little bit more of a 3D look to your camera. So that's it. Now you have a cool little camera that you can put on a card or a scrapbook page. I'll bring it up a little bit higher so that way you guys can get a pretty good look at it. Hopefully it's not too much of a reflection off of that mirror cardstock. All right, so I'm going to put these to the side. I also die cut out this film strip, and I wanted to, so these are the film strips. I die cut out 2 of them. But what I want to do with these is I want to include some stamping. So you could always hide this. You could make an extra long film strip like that. You could just, you know, somehow tape them together if you wanted to. What I did was I also cut out 2 film strips in white, and I'm going to inlay all of these little pieces back into the film strip, and I'm going to stamp on it. So let's see. I am going to get a scrap piece of white cardstock just from my bin of scraps down here, and I'm just going to just cut off a thin strip of it. I've already buried my trimmer on my desk underneath other stuff because it wouldn't be my live if I wasn't making a mess the entire time. All right. It does not have to be exact. Hello, Jessica from lunch. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just kind of adhere the film strip to this scrap piece of paper, just like that, if you can see that. I'm not going to go behind either of these edges of the film strip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a dotted adhesive for this. Where's my... So I'm going to add just a little bit of the dotted adhesive to the back of my film strip there. And now I'm going to adhere this just gently there. And I'm going to trim it off. I'm going to trim this excess off down here. And now what I have is I have a piece of paper that I can glue these inlays to. So, see, you thought that these parts were just going to be garbage, but they are not. They're going to fit right back in here like that. So I'm just doing this because I want to see which pieces fit where. Okay, and I'll do the same thing for this one, but I kind of want it to go, I'm going to kind of go like this to make a longer film strip, if that makes any sense. So actually I can go ahead and glue these in right now. So do you have it? I don't know if you have it, Jessica, but it is the Altenew Capture Memories layering die set. I keep wanting to say layering memories, but it's capturing memories. Didn't I put this in correctly? I'm trying to see. No, I think that's the correct way. I think I had it in backwards. And so if you like things with little details, this is a fun set to work with. All right, so now I have these inlaid here. All right, so do you guys see how I'm already like scratching off my things? Where did my challenge go? So here's my challenge. So I've made a camera. I haven't put it on yet. I've been making film strips, and now I'm gonna stamp on my film strips. So I have some red ink, and what else do I need? An acrylic block. Here's an acrylic block, and I need a stamp. So this is like a super, super duper old alpha stamp that I found, and I picked this purely because it has this teeny, teeny, tiny heart. You can see that my stamps are already, these are so old that they're yellowing. But yes, it was in the January sales. Sorry. January sale would have been so much easier for me to say earlier instead of saying, oh, you know, the sale that was like so and so many weeks ago, and we just got all of our orders in the mail and blah, blah, blah. That would have been a lot less complicated. All right, so I'm going to stamp my heart. And I'm going to just stamp off on a piece of paper to make sure it's stamping beautifully. I'm going to stamp and stamp, and I'm kind of changing the direction of the stamp based on kind of the movement of the film strip. All right. Let me make my second film strip now, and then I have 2 leftover white film strips that I can put on another project. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up either having them come out on either side of something or attach them together. But once I get the layout going, I'll see. So for now, I'm just going to put okay. Oops. And this die is kind of on the delicate side, so you want to treat it a little bit gently so that you don't rip or bend it. If you wanted more bulk, you could always die cut it several times and layer them on top of each other, and then you'd have a little bit more weight to it. Right. Okay, and all you do to get it going in the opposite direction is you flip it upside down. So it's the same die cut, but if you flip it upside down, you get it going in a different direction. You could even do it upside down. Great. Let's stamp some hearts. All right, so now I have my film strips done. Let's just move these over because this red ink takes a minute or 2 to dry, and I really don't want to smear red ink all over the place, so I'm actually going to clean my stamp off really good now. Oh, there's still ink on it. Where'd the stamp set go? All right, see, like I said, it's my live, and I've already lost an entire stamp set on my desk. This is interesting. Oh, it's right here. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. My brain. All right. So I'm going to put the dies away and my stamp set away. And I'm going to move this red ink completely out of my reach because you know that'll be a disaster. And let's bring my scrapping stuff back in. All right. So I'm going with this sketch and this collection and this photo. So I'm going to pick up my papers. I don't have much left. This is one of those simple sets, so I think there's only like 6 pieces of paper in here. So I have this really just have the floral, the cut aparts, and this XOXO paper left. I think I'm going to need, oh, I have some scraps of the XO. Let's use that too. Okay. And these are 49 to market tickets that I pulled out. And I'm going to cut, let's see, I think I'm going to cut a 5-inch strip and a 1-inch strip, and then this will be a 6-inch space of white. Stencils out of the way. I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. Okay. Ah, that's not 12 inches long. See, this is why you're supposed to measure first. Good thing I have a second piece of paper. Okay. All right, let's see. 5-inch. One inch. And then it looks like there's some layering pieces. The title's going to go above here. I think instead of like where these big stars are, that's going to be, hey, no heckling from husbands allowed in the chat. Don't you have work to do? Go make some money. I knew eventually he'd be in here. I knew it. Of course, it would be my husband too. Pain in the butt. That's it. This is why I don't scrap pictures of you on here, because you heckle when you come on. No more scrapping of you. Only the children. All right. Let me see what I got left. So I really just have the floral left. I have some tiny scraps here. And this XOXO, we could use that. Okay, let's use some of this. All right, I'm just going to measure out where I want to cut this. Are you scrapping in the car, Anna? I saw that you were doing mixed media in the car the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. How you do it, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to use this floral paper to mat the photo. So this is kind of what I'm going for here. I'll do this here, although I might put something behind it to give it a little bit of contrast. And then these are going to be stuck together. I'm going to kind of layer them up on this side. And then, of course, you know me, I think I might add a little bit of something up here to balance it out. Let me just see. I think I want these, maybe these two. And I might use these hearts. So I'm going to cut them out. Let's see, actually I'm going to cut it out of that scrap. This paper. Let me grab my sticker book too. Do we want to? Maybe I'll use the teal. The red is cute on it, but the teal kind of pops more. No time to scrap at home, so you do it on the road. Nice. All right, guys, what do you think is better, the teal camera or the red camera? Let me know, because I'm feeling like the red camera kind of disappears with the red paper behind it. All right, let's go with teal. Now I have another embellishment for another page. And I need white alphas that I did not pull, so give me 1 second to go pull some. Pulling out my favorites. These are the Doodlebug Alphabet Soup Puffy Alphas. My very, very favorite ones. All right. And I'm just going to trim this down. Maybe that's cute. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay. This could get tucked back here. All right, let me start gluing a few things down. Right. Thank you. All right, this is always the toughest part. It's like, let's take everything off and then hope we get it back in the right place after. The best part of this picture is that he's blowing bubbles. So we got all the little bubbles, all the little baby bubbles. So cute. Oh, now I just had a cute idea. I'm like, wouldn't it be cute if I had a little envelope and this could be kind of coming out of the envelope? Oh, I'm not sure how I would do that though. All right, let me glue everything else down. Eligible bachelor, yeah, look at that. And that little chunky belly. It was so cute. All right, let me see. This was back in the day when these boys let me dress them up cute. Now all they do is complain about clothes. I do have an envelope board. That would also require me like remembering how to do the envelope board. You know what? Let me just take a quick little peek over here. I do have an envelope board, and I know I have 49 in Market, like envelopes, but the problem is that I don't want to have to dig, and you guys, we don't have time for me to dig. So let me see. I do have these little, what size are these? Are 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. That would fit that way. Wait a minute. What if I, maybe I could cut it? Let's try. I mean, obviously I have a ton of these envelopes that I'm never going to use, so let's get them. Right? Like, you would never know that I cut the bottom off of that envelope. Let's see. That will be really cute. It's something like that. Kind of tucked under there. But it needs like definition, so we're okay. Sorry, this is when I go off layer it under the mailbox card like that. I could do that. So this is when I go off the rails and I deviate from my plan, and now it's like chaos. So I'm going to just do a light bit of this right around the edge. I'm not going crazy like I normally do. I'm not going crazy overboard, but just enough to kind of offset it. And this paper here is actually cream against the white, so I feel like this is perfectly allowed to do it this way. A little chaos. Janice, my whole world is chaos. My world is chaos. Okay. Oh, that's, yeah. All right, that looks really cute. That looks really, really cute. Okay. All right. Now I'm like all off track. All right, here we go. So I am going to glue down. All right, let's get this glued down just in the center for now. And then I will tuck all my stuff in. Or as Miss Chamel says, all the tuckies will get tucked in. Tisa said under the teal, right? A little bit. Let's do it under these two. No. I like it like that. Okay. Under the pink, over the teal. And there we go. All right. Oh, add pattern paper to the inside of the flap. Oh, I could do that too. Let's try it. I'm just winging it now. This is now turned into choose your own adventure. I'm gonna take one of these. We could you could kind of do that. I just need to. Okay, that would work. And then I'm just going to put an embellishment there to cover up my little inaccurate cutting. All right, let's move this all out of the way. Okay, this is a scrap. We can add, oh, you know what? We're going to add our ticket in. How about that? We can add some tickets in there. So let's do 2 tickets. Then I got knocking tickets off the list. Here we go. And that brings in that teal. Let's pop this up on some foam. Okay. Put the camera down here. All right. All right. Let's put in a tab for the date and a little label. I'll add my journaling on later. Let's tuck this in under here. Okay. Let's see, where did my challenge go? Let's see, what can we knock off the list? So I have a camera, I have a film strip, I've done stamping, I have a ticket, I have hearts, an arrow, some stitching, rub-ons, sequins, and gems. So we can get some arrows on here, right? There's a couple of arrows on the sticker sheets. Let's put some arrows on here, like that, pointing towards him. I did want to add these conversation hearts on here. How am I doing on time? Have I completely gone over time? Oh no, I'm doing pretty good. All right. I'm like, are people going to be finishing up their lunch break soon? All right, so I have these 2 little hearts. Let's stick these up on some foam. Okay. see. Sometimes I'll lay it down and then I look at my computer screen so I can get the real overhead view. I'm not sure if I'm loving this sticker. I'm going to take it off. This is crazy, but what if we put this border on here? And that would bring in more of the blue. Let's do that. Okay. All right, I'm going to do two more things. I'm going to knock two more items off the list. And I am going to get a white gel pen for this next step. Where is it? Here we go. So I'm going to just add some stitching. Let me just get the pen going. All right. So it's not real stitching, it's faux stitching, but I think we can count faux stitching, right? I mean, I could take this over to my sewing machine and do it, but I don't know if it's plugged in right now. Just do my faux stitching down this side here. And then I'm going to add my sprinkly bits. This one, the Love You, layered over the first Valentine's Day. Oh, I already have it says I love you right here. And it says love you there. I mean, we could do, I don't know. I'm going to add that sticker back and think about it. And then who knows, maybe that will show up on the final pictures. You never know, because I do come back to this and look at it before I photograph it, because I usually will add in the journaling. All right. So I have these shimmering seawater, and I have the glacier ice. So let's see. I'm just gonna glue them down. And then, yeah, it's a little hard to see these. Without it being up close on the camera. Where's my stick? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so while I'm finishing this up, just remember Jessica is live on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Sherry is going live on Monday at 8 p.m. And next weekend we have our online crop. So I think everybody in here today is a old pro at My Little Scrapbook Store crops. But if you're new and listening in, or you're listening in on the replay, we have a My Little Scrapbooking Store online crops group that you can join. And next weekend we'll be going live with our challenges. It'll start on Friday, so 1 week from today. There's going to be lots of challenges for prizes. You're going to have a month to complete the challenges. There's going to be lives. There's going to be Zoom crop rooms where we all hop on a Zoom together and we scrapbook together. Design team lives where multiple design team members will be together working on challenges. Yeah, so if you're new here and you have not signed up for that group on Facebook, be sure to search for it and join. And I'm looking for my challenge checklist. There it is. All right, because I'm a big fan of checking things off, let's check everything off from the February challenge. So I have my camera, I have my film strip, my stamping, a ticket. I didn't use a stencil. I have a heart on here, I have arrow, I have stitching, and I have gems. I didn't use rub-on. So that's pretty good. Out of 10 items, I got 8 out of 10 items off on this layout. So I'll just bring it up close so you can see the little details of the sprinkly bits. And that's it. So thanks for joining me on your lunch breaks, everybody. I will see you next weekend for the crop. All right. Have a great weekend. And don't forget to check out the upcoming lives. Okay. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.